Good morning, fam. Rise and grind. Welcome to Sales Remastered. In this episode, I want to talk about networking and the importance of networking. You know, right now it's 5:46 a.m. and just got done with the gym. As you can see, still perspiring. Anyway, networking is important because, you know, my whole message here, obviously at Sales Remastered, is to find a sales mentor to help you through the experience of that mentor, to assist you with avoiding like the pitfalls and the delays and the heartaches and the frustration. But more importantly, also the mentor can give you the right motivation you need because they've experienced what you are currently going through right now. And of course, some things may have changed, right? And so if the mentor doesn't do it as of right now, like sales or building houses or, you know what I mean, like painting a picture, whatever the trade is, whatever the skill set is, if the mentor is not currently doing it, it may be offset by outdated material. It may be, you know, a little bit irrelevant to the way technology has changed the atmosphere today. But nonetheless, a mentor is very important because they even though the technologies change, even though the maybe the programs or the names or society has changed or the delivery method has changed, what you take away from the mentor are the gold nuggets of how they started. And I think that's in essence one of the main questions you ask a mentor right off the bat, or anyone that you're trying to learn from. It doesn't have to be a mentor. It could be someone on your sales floor who is hitting impressive numbers, and you're thinking to yourself like, man, how do I get there? You know, I feel like I'm working as hard as they are, if not harder, and they make it look so easy. How do they do that? And that's networking, right? So you want to be able to network and ask them. So how do you ask them? Do you just go up there and say, hey man, how are you making so much money? Tell me now. You'd be amazed how many people came up to me, you know, along my career and just asked me straight out like that. Like, what are you doing? Are you lying to them? You know, just point blank, you know, like, hey, what are you doing? Tell me now. I need to do this. Like, the fuck? You know, you're asking me for a favor. You're asking me how to give you information of how to feed your mouth, of how to feed your kid's mouth and your family's mouth. Come with a little bit of decency, right? Come be a little bit more cordial. You can't just come to somebody and be like, hey, what are you doing? Tell me how. You know, like you are entitled to it. You can't do that. So rule number one, or lesson number one, is if you see someone who you want to be mentored by, or at least learn a lesson or two by, you have to understand the value of not only selling to clients, but selling yourself to your fucking surrounding. Meaning that, you know, if you're polite and you're likable, then it's more, you know, it's a little bit easier for maybe someone who you're trying to be mentored to relate to you. Maybe they won't feel shunned off, because keep in mind that mentor that you're asking a favor from does not need you yet. And the game is, how can you find out if they can, you know, in essence, use you? I know it sounds weird, right? But what I'm getting at is that you have to bring that person value. It's a give take. And why I reference it to sales is because, you know, if you're just point blank like, hey, do you want to buy? Okay, I gotta go. I gotta make another call. Do you want to buy? You know, there's no, what the fuck? You know, it's just kind of like, hey, man, get your social game right. You know what I mean? And probably the worst way to approach someone who you're asking a favor from is, hey, do it right now. So long story short, I won't really dwell on that, but it kind of just brought up some memories of individuals who literally asked me that way, and I had no other choice but to tell them I'm just too busy, or, you know, kind of point them in another direction, or just say I don't know, because I'm moving. You know, it just like anyone who you'd want to be mentored, they're busy. The reason why the mentor is as successful as they are, so successful that they have people ask, like, hey, how do you do this? What do you do here? What would you do here? Or how can I do this? Or how can I get here? The reason why you want to ask them that is because they've not only accomplished it, but they've done it. Not only have they done it, but they've done it well. It's even a bonus if they do it well currently, like in current time, not did it well in 78, you know what I mean, or did it well back in the 90s. I'm talking about right now. It's relevant. And when you have, or I should say, when you find that type of value, man, be cordial, be respectful, acknowledge that that person has, you know, has accomplished a lot, has accomplished greatness. And so that what you want to do is almost like you're courting, right? Courting like you're dating. And you know, whether the same sex or different sex, I don't mean it that way. What I'm talking about is that you just have to be likable. And one great way that I've learned is that you know, you come in with a compliment and you just plant the seed. That's it. You don't necessarily ask right up front, like, hey, can you fucking teach me? I know you're busy, but teach me everything you know. You know, the best method is to actually just, number one, shoot them maybe a direct message, because you see these mentors' names on your sales floor, you know, whether it's the acknowledgement reports from, you know, your VP of sales or the owner of the company or your manager who gives you these spreadsheets, and it shows you how many sales for the day, how many sales for the week, how many sales for the month. And the one you want to be mentored by are typically those at the higher, you know, at the top of the chart. And so you're going to see these names consistently. And if you are new to sales, I would strongly recommend that you don't just, you know, take one list and just go straight to the top. Ask your manager for the list over, you know, year to date, or at least the last 3 months, because you don't want to waste your time spending it on picking the brain of someone who's not consistent, who's not, you know, like they had a good month. You know what I mean? Like they had a bunch of rollover from the last month. So that 1 month, the report that you're looking at, it makes it look like they're fucking Kobe Bryant on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, or Michael Jordan. They're just, their numbers are sick, are stupid high. And it's going to be an illusion because you didn't look at the reports prior to. You didn't realize, oh, this guy got a bunch of referral. There might be a reason, and they never had been at the top of the chart. So nonetheless, it's still good at network because they've had the capacity, or they've experienced producing at that high amount. So you could still pick your brain, but don't necessarily go, hey man, what'd you do? I want to be just like you, or whatever, mimic to 100%. Who you want to be able to mimic or pick the brain from are not just one person, not just two, but you know, a little bit of a wider range, meaning that, you know, you select one person who's doing it on your floor and they're doing it right. More than likely that person is super busy. More than likely they're probably an introvert, so they seem like they're a dick or they don't care about you, but they're just focused on their game. You know what I mean? Their hustle's so strong where, I mean, you know, they're just machines, you know, and I can speak from experience because I was like that, where your head's just down, you're just focused, you're always at your desk, you're always on the phone, and you're just always grinding it out, you know, and we mean well, but nonetheless we're busy. There's a whole point why we're at the top of the list is because we're always moving. More importantly, we don't congregate or hang out and gossip. You know, I mean, there's a lot of top producers who gossip, but they gossip for a reason. They network. If you notice, this is how you know you're talking to a top producer, is when you're talking, they're listening. They're doing minimal talking. They're listening, and then when they find something they can relate to, they will position themselves where they can turn it into business. It's fucking weird. It's like that's all they think about. And so check this out. Today, when you're just having your normal conversation, analyze your surroundings. Focus on your surroundings. Who's the quiet one? You know, who's the one who just observes and then speaks, but when they speak, they drop some fucking knowledge. Like, oh man, that's a fucking good idea. Like that dude or that girl, you know, and you'll be able to witness it. You'll be able to see the mindset. You'll be able to differentiate who's a real player, you know, who's the closer or who's the coaster, right? Because there's a lot of people who walk and talk the part, but they don't actually live it. They don't do it, and you got to be careful with that because, you know, again, you don't want to pick the brain of someone not doing it right, because then you're just going to learn the ways to not do it right. And anyway, so my message, and I'm sorry I veered off, but my message here is that, you know, you need to find a mentor. You need to find someone who inspires you, who can make you stronger, not make you weak. You need to find someone who can lift you up, not anchor you down. And if you want motivation, you want to say, hey Daniel, how do you stay motivated? Is it coffee? Is it working out? Is it, you know, is it your meditation in the morning? Is it going to the gym? Is it your morning ritual? You know, and to be honest with you, my motivation really is to make sure that what I'm doing today is better than what I was doing yesterday, or I'm improving in some way. and it's investing into my future so that where I am now versus where I am in 5, 7, 10, 15 years from now is steadily on an upward pace. It's steadily growing, meaning that I don't want to go backwards. So the question is, what motivates me? What motivates me is the fear of going backwards, is the fear of being average or stagnant or not growing. And why I fear it so much is because I have 3 children in this world that I brought into the, brought to life, or I helped bring to life, and they're relying on me, and I want to be a person and a figure in their life that they can look back at and talk about and say, man, my dad was great, or man, my dad did so much, or man, my dad hustled and he made it work for us, or I would never have done this without the inspiration of my dad. I want that being said at my funeral. I want to be acknowledged as someone who changed the world in as little way as possible. So it just mounted up. But nonetheless, find a mentor, find someone that will inspire you. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a person. Sometimes it could just be a figure or an influencer on YouTube, or maybe an artist, a music artist, a song, a hobby, whatever. Find I believe the reason why it takes you to a higher level is because it gives you time to reflect. It gives you some quiet time. And without reflection, you're kind of just, you're just enjoying the ride. So until you stop and hold back and assess everything and all the actions, all the outcomes, all the results, and the energies that you have throughout the day, you're never really going to know where you're going, right? Kind of just on a blind ride. So I hope this message is helpful. I know I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, but the message here is to find a mentor. If you're in sales, any kind of sales, I would strongly recommend checking out SalesRemastered. And you want to look at the video content. It's fairly new. Keep in mind that the brand was just was born on Valentine's Day 2017, and you can find SalesRemastered on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and oh yeah, salesremastered.com. I'll see you guys later. Bye.